So we're here today with Christian Seeley to mark the launch of the Quinta de Noval late bottled vintage 2004 vintage. So, Christian, tell me about LBV and why you think it's like a baby vintage port.
Well, I've always believed, since I started working at Noval in 1993, that late bottled vintage was able to provide port lovers with a wine that had something of the character of vintage port. And for that reason, we've always trodden our late bottled vintage in lagars, in the traditional way, as we do with the vintage port. And we've always not filtered it. We just keep it 4 years in barrel instead of 2 years, which we would for a vintage. And so I've always thought of our late bottled vintage as a baby brother or sister of vintage port. And the extra 2 years in barrel mean that a late bottled vintage is ready to drink when it comes on the market. But the fact that it is a serious wine and it's not filtered means that you can also sit on it in your cellar and wait for it to develop over time.
For how long would you say, on average, with an LBV?
Well, today we tasted a little vertical of old unfiltered Noval LBVs, and the 94, which was the first one we made, I thought was tasting fantastically well, and it really has acquired some of the advanced developed aromas of older vintage port, but in a minor key. But remember that this was a wine that was not sold at a very high price, and so I think that if you take LBV seriously as a great wine and make it in the way that you make the vintage port, you're giving a consumer a very, very serious port wine at an affordable price.